It is no accident that the first thing we often notice about a person is their eyes. There, in the iris, lies a mysterious language, a sacred cipher, quietly whispering truths that stretch far beyond biology. The color of your eyes is not merely a feature of genetics, it is an outward expression of the psyche's architecture. Within their hue lies a symbolic resonance that reveals your orientation toward the world, your archetypal disposition, and the unconscious energies that shape your destiny. To truly understand the color of your eyes is to understand the story your soul seeks to live. Brown eyes are the most common in the world, yet they are the least understood in terms of their psychological weight. To possess dark eyes is to be rooted in the earth, drawn to the embodied life, to instinct, and to the tribal mind. These are eyes that have seen 1,000 lives before this one, steeped in ancestral memory. People with brown eyes carry a depth that speaks to the collective, not the individual. They often experience life not as separate agents, but as vital organs of the human organism. There is a magnetic gravity in such eyes, for they pull others toward them, not with flair, but with ancient warmth. Yet within that strength lies a hidden burden. They may forget the individual soul in service to the group, mistaking belonging for identity. Their transformation begins when they stop asking what the world expects of them and begin asking what stirs in the hidden recesses of their inner forest. Blue eyes, by contrast, are born of the sky and ice, the vast distances of interior landscapes. They belong to the seer, the dreamer, the one who lives from vision rather than memory. Their psyche is often attuned to abstraction, to possibilities not yet formed, and to a haunting nostalgia for a home that may never have existed. The soul that gazes out through blue eyes is not weighted by the past, but drawn forward by a sense of destiny. And yet, such a soul often suffers from isolation, because vision can become detachment. The challenge of the blue-eyed one is not to see more, but to feel more. To root their sky-bound consciousness in the messy, chaotic world of emotions and embodiment. Only then can they reconcile their transcendent leanings with the deeply human need for communion. Green eyes are rare, and so too are the souls who bear them. They are children of paradox, alchemists by nature, carrying within them the tension of opposites. Earth and air, reason and passion, serenity and rebellion all coexist in their gaze. There is often a wildness beneath the surface, a spark of mischief or a quiet refusal to conform. Those with green eyes may appear calm on the outside, but they harbor an unrelenting urge to transform, to disrupt, to reinvent. Their psyche is not content with surface truths. They dig, they experiment, they question the foundations of meaning itself. But with this gift comes risk. The green-eyed one may become seduced by their own complexity, mistaking restlessness for growth. Their path opens only when they surrender to stillness, when they realize that transformation does not always require movement, but depth. Hazel eyes are the eyes of the shapeshifter. They are difficult to define, and so too are the souls behind them. Their inner world is not fixed. It shifts with the seasons, with the people they encounter, with the roles they must play. They are bridges between the known and the unknown, often standing at the crossroads of competing desires and identities. This adaptability can be their greatest strength, the capacity to hold contradictions, to live in ambiguity without the need for immediate resolution. But this also makes them vulnerable to fragmentation. The danger is that they become mirrors for others, but lose sight of their own reflection. The evolution of such a soul comes when they begin to ask, "Who am I?" when no one is watching, and dare to live from that answer. And then there are the black eyes, not merely dark brown, but so deep they seem to contain the night itself. These are the eyes of mystery, of the hidden, of the one who walks between worlds. The individual with such eyes may carry the archetype of the guardian, the keeper of sacred thresholds, the one who is not entirely of this world. They are drawn to the numinous, to that which defies language, to the silence behind the noise. These souls often find themselves in roles they did not choose, called to hold space for others, to bear witness to sorrow, to stand vigil in the dark hours of transformation. Their task is not easy, for the burden of depth is real. But when they recognize that their darkness is not a wound, but a womb, that it is the source of creation itself, they become midwives to the souls of others. To know the meaning of the color of your eyes is not to discover a destiny imposed from the outside. It is to awaken to the internal landscape that has shaped you from the moment of your first breath. It is to recognize that your life has always been speaking in symbols, that the mirror you gaze into every day is not merely reflecting your face, it is revealing the myth you were born to live. The color of your eyes reveals the dominant archetypal force shaping your inner world and outer behavior. This is not a matter of physicality alone, it is a symbolic phenomenon, a visible manifestation of something far older and deeper than the body. Eye color, like dream symbols or ancient myths, holds psychological resonance. It tells us what energies are at work within the unconscious, pushing and pulling us towards certain attitudes, choices, and patterns. Each color carries its own mythos, its own expression of psychic energy, not randomly, but meaningfully. The eyes are the windows to the soul not because they let others in, but because they let something ancient look out. When one's eyes are brown, they are often attuned to the archetype of the nurturer, the protector, or the communal self. The dominant force within may be that of groundedness and instinct, an alignment with the rhythms of the earth and the body. These individuals often move from a place of emotional wisdom, carrying within them the warmth and weight of ancestral memory. The behavior that emerges from this force is one of caretaking, of seeking harmony within the group, of tending to what is essential but often unseen. The world is navigated through relational knowing, through a deep-felt sense of others, often at the cost of their own clarity of self. In contrast, blue eyes often correspond to a dominant force of the visionary or the seeker. Here, the archetypal energy leans toward abstraction, transcendence, and imaginative projection. These are individuals who often feel drawn toward the unknown, not because they want to escape, but because something inside them remembers a light not of this world. Their behavior reflects this, often distant, reflective, focused on ideals or possibilities that others do not see. The inner world is vast, full of longing for meaning and form beyond the immediate. They may appear aloof or removed, but within, they are negotiating the vast sky of the unconscious, where the pull of future and purpose is louder than the voices of the present. Greenhow individuals reflect an archetypal duality, a soul that refuses to settle into fixed identity. They are often caught between competing inner forces, part rational, part emotional, part wild, part disciplined. The dominant energy within is the transformer, the alchemist, the one who must bring opposites into conversation. Their behaviors are therefore mercurial, unpredictable to those who see the world in binary. They carry the ability to adapt, to transmute, to move between roles, but also struggle to define themselves. The inner world is rarely still, as the psyche continually seeks to integrate conflicting drives. There is often a psychic intensity here, a feeling of being in constant dialogue with unknown energies. Every color corresponds to a mood of the psyche, a frequency of inner life. These colors are not accidents, but symbolic mirrors reflecting the prevailing forces within. They shape how we love, fear, dream, fight, and surrender, often without our conscious knowing. When these archetypal energies remain unconscious, they rule us silently. When made conscious, they become tools of transformation. Eye color symbolizes your soul's orientation toward earth, sky, paradox, or mystery, and reflects how you relate to instinct, emotion, thought, and transformation. It is not simply a matter of pigment in the iris. It is a subtle but potent metaphor for the inner compass that guides the way you interpret and respond to life. The psyche, like nature, leaves clues, and the eyes are one of its most striking symbols. Each hue offers a glimpse into the energies that dominate within, not as rigid categories but as fundamental orientations, invisible structures that shape what we notice, what we avoid, what we long for, and what we fear. Those with eyes rooted in deep brown often move through the world with an orientation towards stability, safety, and connection. Their soul leans toward the earth, toward that which is known, dependable, familiar. There is often a deep-rooted instinct to protect, to nurture, and to remain loyal to one's origins. This orientation means a heightened sensitivity to belonging and the rhythms of the collective. They often find fulfillment in tangible experiences and grounded relationships, seeking comfort in patterns that are felt rather than thought. Their connection to instinct is not wild but ancestral, drawing strength from lineage, tradition, and the body's innate intelligence. When they suffer, it is often because they have been pulled too far from this grounding, or because they have denied their own individuality in service to others. In contrast, blue eyes suggest a soul oriented toward the sky, to transcendence, idealism, and the unmanifest. The internal world of such a person often gravitates toward the abstract, the spiritual, or the visionary. Emotions are present, but they pass through the mind's filter. Instinct is often overruled by thought or image. This type seeks freedom, sometimes not in physical form, but in the realm of ideas or dreams. Their eyes often reveal a distant gaze, not out of detachment, but because their inner life is always in conversation with the invisible. The world is perceived not as it is, but as it could be. Their soul's direction is vertical, ever seeking the heavens, the infinite, the archetypal ideal that transcends the ordinary. Those with green or hazel eyes often find themselves caught between orientations, not fully sky nor fully earth, but something in between. Their soul dances at the intersection of paradox, reflecting a life that resists fixed roles. These individuals are frequently pulled in multiple directions, feeling the tension between instinct and thought, emotion and logic, stability and change. They carry the signature of the shapeshifter not because they are uncertain, but because they are attuned to complexity. They are alchemists of experience, blending opposites into new forms. Their orientation is circular rather than linear, seeking meaning through cycles, contrast, and transformation. Emotion in them is fluid, often deep, but difficult to articulate. Thought is ever-evolving, refusing rigid conclusions. Their suffering often emerges from fragmentation, a struggle to find wholeness in a self that is constantly unfolding. Even the darkest eyes, almost black, contain mystery. The soul behind them often orients toward the hidden, the unconscious, the primordial forces beneath the surface. They perceive life through the lens of depth rather than detail. Their instinct is neither reactive nor chaotic, but quietly powerful. Emotions run deep, but are often veiled. Their world is not lit by clarity, but by intuition, a sense of knowing that precedes reason. These eyes do not reveal. They contain. Their soul's path often leads inward, through shadow, through silence, through the liminal zones between death and rebirth. Their orientation is toward the sacred unknown. To understand your eye color is to uncover your personal myth and reclaim the hidden pattern guiding your destiny. This is not a superficial analysis or aesthetic observation, but a symbolic awakening to the deep forces moving within you. The myth is not merely a story. It is the structural blueprint of the psyche, the invisible architecture upon which your life unfolds. Most people are unaware of the myth they are living, yet it shapes their choices, their attractions, their fears, and the cycles they repeat. Your eye color acts as a gateway to that myth, not because of some magical property, but because it holds the archetypal energy your soul has chosen to express in this lifetime. It is the echo of your inner narrative, reflected on the canvas of your body. The eyes are not passive receptors. They are transmitters of energy, mood, and psychic intention. They reveal how your inner world engages with the outer one, whether through grounding, reaching, transforming, or withdrawing. Each color has a symbolic resonance that speaks to the kind of myth you are most likely to inhabit. Brown eyes suggest a myth rooted in the earth, the story of the healer, the protector, the gatherer of tribes. This is a life marked by devotion, by emotional labor, and by cycles of sacrifice and renewal. The lesson embedded in this myth often revolves around self-worth, boundaries, and the transformation of inherited roles into conscious choice. The struggle is not only external, it is an inner tension between belonging and individuality, between serving others and hearing one's own voice. The journey between present and potential often signal a myth of the visionary, the dreamer who carries the memory of something lost, or the longing for something not yet born. Their life tends to be shaped by ideals, by distance, by the pursuit of something just beyond reach. These individuals often find themselves torn between presence and potential, between the material and the spiritual. Their myth is often one of exile and return, the journey away from and back to what is essential. This myth may carry themes of loneliness, otherness, and the challenge of embodying what they can so easily imagine. They are not here to conform to the world as it is, but to bring into form the world as it could be. Yet in doing so, they must confront the danger of detachment, the temptation to remain in the realm of ideas while the body and heart remain untouched. Those with green or hazel eyes live myths of complexity. The shapeshifter, the trickster, the boundary crosser. These lives are rarely linear. They bend, spiral, collide. There is something in their nature that resists the fixed path, that demands reinvention. The myth they carry may involve transgression, renewal, or synthesis. The bringing together of worlds that do not easily belong. Their struggles often emerge from fragmentation, from trying to hold together parts of the self that feel irreconcilable. But their gift lies in this very tension, for it forces them to evolve beyond simplistic roles into something more whole, more honest, more alive.